Hello everyone, I'm Fabio Scala from Further Africa, and welcome to another panel of INFORAFRICA, a platform to raise awareness in the fight against COVID-19. Today, I have the privilege of hosting three very special business ladies making waves across the continent. Beatrice Olumhense from Monami, a digital advertising agency in Nigeria. Sibongile from Sibongile Traders, an agri-processing and agricultural company in South Africa. And Dr. Nahla Omer from Sukar Cosmetics in Sudan. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, ladies, you all agree that the COVID-19 situation is affecting pretty much all aspects of society. And I think that entrepreneurs are perhaps one of the main people feeling the effects in a more explicit way. So I wanted to start this conversation by trying to get a sense of how your business and your sector are being impacted, the measures that you were taking to address some of the challenges, and your ideas on how to bounce back. Beatrice, personally, I think that marketing and communication is becoming more important than ever before. So I would like to start with you, if you could.
Thank you very much. I think, you know, we're actually dealing in very unprecedented times. And when this happened, most businesses and activities literally ground to a halt. You know, one of the biggest impacts we saw was around supply chain disruption. And of course, everyone started thinking about business continuity and how to figure out remote working. We saw an uptake of digital business, but also our clients started taking stock and reevaluating, you know, agreements like retainer agreements. However, you know, I believe at this time, every business is looking at how they survive before they can thrive. And, you know, irrespective of the fiduciary responsibility any business has to its shareholders, I think it's also important at this time that we also focused on our people as well as the community around us. In order for people to work effectively, from home, it was, you know, we started focusing on providing the right collaboration tools. But at this point in time, you know, relooking at your cash and liquidity is something that's paramount to every business. From a marketing standpoint, I think we started looking at how to be more empathic with our clients and really evaluate the value that we're bringing to them on a daily basis. From a consumer point of view, we see and understand the fact that, you know, we see dwindling incomes coming from, you know, layoffs or, you know, really lack of business generally. And there's a changing consumer appetite to different products that are out there in the market. So for us at this time, we're doing less of the creative development, but really sitting with our clients to look at a bit more strategic planning, new products development for this particular time, and then helping them relook at their sort of digital approach in the marketplace.
I see. Thank you very much, Beatrice. Right now, Dr. Nahla, in pharmaceutical and cosmetics, what could you tell us about your experience?
So this pandemic, it affects the supply chain very badly, especially for raw material from outside Sudan. So the airports are blocked, and even the raw material you have now, you can't even predict or plan that what could happen after 1 month. What should distribution plan happen? Also for distribution, the product around distribution point affects very badly because the movement itself it's restricted because of the pandemic and regulation, like now in different cities in Khartoum. So in general aspects, we are just like frozen, kind of. We are trying to work with the minimum and to preserve as much as cash as we can, and then try to understand the situation and how we can overcome it with the minimum side effects or minimum or if the damage happened, but we are trying to reduce it, at least to sustain in this period of time.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Nahla. I see. Now, moving on into one of Africa's key strengths, agriculture. Sibongile, what are your thoughts?
Hello, everyone. Agriculture has been disrupted big time, starting from local farmers, because we as local work with local farmers to get our fresh produce from these local farmers. From level 5, we couldn't even move around to collect from the further rest of the province because of the many regulations and the movement that was not allowed, and that caused us also not be able to produce. On the other hand, the retailers that we supplied to, the sales were very slow because there were no movements. People are not going to the shops, and those who are going are not even buying maybe the snacking things or the products that we're selling. They were more focusing on getting food and in few numbers. Hence, that had a big negative. Up to 90% sales were down, and we had to think what else to do. We had to pivot business, start even thinking of making tea instead of chips, because that's what people are looking for currently, especially in South Africa with the wormwood herb. After the announcement from Madagascar saying that that tea is boosting the immune system, people started going to the villages, starting to, since this level 4, to get that herb and make sure that they are afloat and not being left out because your things are not selling. Some people who never know what is sanitizer started just jumping on it, making things happen, but everybody is pushing hard to make sure that things are happening. And also, we have seen that it's better to go online because nobody wants to get in contact with you. People, even if you are going to see a buyer currently, they will tell you that no meeting of suppliers, everyone is avoiding any contact. So the way to go now is to get to e-commerce.
Right, I see. Well, it's very interesting to see how, while some of these challenges that we have, they're common to us, some sectors are affected in very unique ways. I know that as we come out of this crisis, different businesses will go through different solutions, but I can't help to think that digital will play an important role all across the board. I know Beatrice started by saying that. Now, do you guys think that digital is one of the ways to fight the coronavirus? Let me start with Dr. Nahla this time.
So for me, digitalization and technology will be a solution because it will reduce human contact itself. So, and it will make the process more efficient. So with this pandemic, we realize the importance of resilience and the importance of to be like flexible and to be very fast in adapting. So technology could provide that because it's easy to analyze situation, it's easy to detect problem, it's easy to give you an information. So I think digitalization will be and something very important to implement in all sectors, that in the future that will be better and more flexible companies to adapt any change or any disruption in the business environment or in the world itself. So also the e-commerce, I think, will be a more way, especially in Africa, to because e-commerce in like in Sudan, we don't use a lot of e-commerce platform for buying and selling. So now people are more interesting and they acquire a new habit of using e-commerce or online to buy and selling their stuff. So this is good start for digitalizing our businesses.
Right. Sibongile, what do you think?
For me, digitalization is the way to go, because though we need some extra things to do, fortify the systems, because there are a lot of hackings, people even hack meetings, hack things. We need cybersecurity, making sure that things are set, but it's the way to go. And also with the help from our governments to interlink our board, not borders literally, but then fixing the roads, making sure that the entrepreneurs will be able to move, especially talking for SADC region. We mustn't have challenges to go to Mozambique. We mustn't have challenges to go to Swaziland, to Zimbabwe. Those ones, if they can make sure that the roads are fixed, it is the way to go. And people will be having less contact, and will be able to deliver the goods to the next person in good state. So we should just dive in it and make sure that things are happening, but we do our homework very well, making sure that everything is secured.
Great. Now, Beatrice, digital against the virus. What are your thoughts?
I think digital is very critical. But here I want to separate out digitization from real digital transformation. Nahla and Sibongile have talked about really bringing business online, and that's pure digitization. Reevaluating new routes to market. However, I think going beyond for Africa is really for every business leader to actually start to sit down and look at what is the core of my business value. How do I transfer that, right, into clear business strategies that can go digital? So in your long-term planning, starting to look at real design thinking from input, right? How do I create the right experiences online? Because if everybody's going to be on digital, right, then it becomes about experiences I get from one platform to the other. And then you're looking at everything from sort of the front end right down to the back end, right? Are you adopting? And I think never has it been, I think, more critical for us and for small businesses to start to adopt basic cloud services. Everything from data to security, ERPs to be able to manage your clients, CRM to know who's buying what at what point in time. And in order to ensure that your teams are working effectively, looking at communication and collaboration tools to ensure real-time delivery to customers. However, this therefore brings another challenge: is how do we create a digitally savvy workforce? Because as we move forward, we need to start relooking at our resourcing and how that resourcing can position us better as a continent. And hopefully digital will help to accelerate diversification for a lot of businesses. And I believe that digital will also allow every business to start to reevaluate the cost of running their business, because you're bringing in agility and delivering better value, on your services, but then starting to look at your staffing complements, right? In an agency, we typically will have everybody working together. However, if you have to do social distancing, it means you can't continue to have your full complement of staff. Therefore, you may have to look at a situation where you're not downsizing actually. You're actually having a set of staff that come in on a daily basis and others that work remotely. And that cost structure obviously is very different. And then also is relooking at your retail footprint, right? If a lot of business is now moving online, businesses then need to start looking at, do I really need the brick and mortar, at every location, or can digital serve that? And then if we look at certain parts of businesses, there's certain tasks that are actually quite repetitive, right? Where we can bring robotic process automation, contactless technologies to be able to drive change in all of those areas. So it is actually very critical for small, medium, and big businesses to really start to look at their core value and see how they take it digital.
Some very, very strong points in there. Couldn't agree with you more. Now, sticking with you, Beatrice, resilience is a strong feature of African businesses. We all know that. We've seen our share of challenges before, but this crisis, as you mentioned before, is very unique. What is the lesson that you think entrepreneurs will take out of this experience?
I think firstly, this has kind of allowed everyone to look at what is your business continuity plan, irrespective of what situation. So today it's a pandemic, tomorrow it could be something else. So really putting in place a plan that allows for crisis management readiness, crisis readiness in communication. Also, we've seen that leadership, we do have a dearth of leadership, as it sits. So every business leader really needs to understand how they're training and retooling their leaders for Africa of the future. But as every business has seen, without human capital, businesses cannot run. So we all need to look at how we invest in a sustainable future, whether it's sustainable food programs, because as you can see, we live in a continent where poverty is a big part of our systems. And we need to look at how we support our governments to drive those effectively, have comprehensive health, for our staff as well as, in our country. And then also looking at the right education and skills that can truly bring innovation in every sector, on the continent.
I see. Well, on that note, I'm going to call in Sibongile. We mentioned about food agriculture, as I said before, is key to the continent. What is the top lesson you think entrepreneurs will take from this crisis?
All the people have learned that it's good to pivot your business. No matter what you believe in that it was working, but in your strategies, looking at trends and what happened. Good to what is happening at the moment? What do I do? Quick decision making. Sometimes you plan and the plans do not go according to your way. What happened now in this pandemic? So pivot is the way to go. Ability, being flexible. Don't stand still in that place and be mourning. The people have learned that. Hence, you saw people now, it might be in the same industry, like I mentioned earlier, that more people in agri-processing now are making teams. We're having lots of herbs that we have been ignoring, and people now, their brains is like the light bulb time came, ding, tea time. Everybody's thinking about natural teas, all the teas, good ones that will even put everybody in immune system. So people must learn how to pivot. In times like this, there are ones you can plan, but you cannot plan for everything. One more strength that we have gotten out of this pandemic is flexibility. And knowing that to stay afloat, you do anything that is legal to make sure you stay afloat. It's either you pivot your business or you measure with another SME or with a bigger business to make sure that you work something out. So hence the sense of flexibility is required. Though you will not deviate from your ethics, won't deviate far from your strategies, but still make sure that you stay afloat and make things happen. Yes.
I have to say, I love that big, strong, positive attitude. Thank you very much for that. Dr. Nahla, how about you?
So for me, and I think in this kind of situation, as African entrepreneur, it is a very, very good time to shine, because in disruptive situation, rules are changing very, very, very drastically. So such a situation, if you, as Sibongile say, if you pivot very rightly and if you study the market very quickly, if you change your way, you can be in the front line. Because as I said, in this situation, everything is changing. The mindset of the people are changing. How they see the African continent is start to change, and even the African people around the world are rethinking their situation and diaspora, and there is a lot of changes will happen in the upcoming years. So this is a very great situation. I believe in the hard time, people can shine, but the smart one, if they studied very good, if they had the flexibility, if they had their mindset are ready, and they understand their businesses and they understand their core value very, very well, they can easily adapt, and they can easily adjust their businesses, and they can grow very fast. I believe change will be in the future for Africa, and especially in this situation, because the mindset is changing, and everybody was thinking for Africa as a source for organic and natural stuff, and people start to think about how to have eco-friendly businesses, how to be natural, all that stuff are a very great opportunity to change the mindset of the world about African and Africanpreneur, and for the business itself in the local aspect, they can use it very good and they can shine, because in this such time, people start to slow down their things. People are afraid. The economy are not clear, and people are very afraid to invest. But people who are very smart and know their businesses and their core businesses, they know this is the perfect time to invest and to grow. And the talent and the pool of talent for procurement for people is very good, very good prices. So I think this is a very good time for people to invest in their businesses, to grow it, and to pivot in a very good and smart way. This is what I believe.
Great, Dr. Nahla. Now, sticking with you, respecting the fact that you are all in different countries, right? I mean, Sudan, Nigeria, South Africa, there are different levels of development in each of the countries. Now, what do you think that, do you think that government should allocate more resources to help entrepreneurs? Do you think that governments are doing enough? Or if you had one idea to tell governments across the continent, what would that be? How do you help entrepreneurs? Dr. Nahla.
So I think at this time they should invest very, yeah, like very seriously in entrepreneurial businesses. They should support them. At least they can reduce the taxation on them. At least they can give them loans, special loans, with low interest, to adjust to pay their daily payment, or the pay to their employee. At least to be able to sustain. I think this is very important to consider it, because SMEs or entrepreneur or startups, this is the dynamo of the economy. It is the small businesses that have employed different people. So if you support those small businesses, you will reduce the rate of unemployment right now, because it's very high right now, and you will protect the future of those businesses. So I think it's very important to consider it as a very important aspect for the economy of, or to sustain at least to reduce the damage of what happened to the economy for different countries in Africa.
All right. How about you, Beatrice? Your thoughts?
Look, if I look at Nigeria, for instance, the CBN and the banks have worked to try to provide additional credit, lower interest rates, sort of holidays for when those repayments can start happening. But I think beyond that, especially because as a small business owner, if you do take on the credit, what is the guarantee of the demand for your products in the marketplace? I don't believe that that is the most sustainable way to drive this. Therefore, if I have to borrow from the UAE, for instance, a government that looks at 100-year rolling plan, I think African leaders and our leadership really need to start to think about the human capital investment that needs to happen, in addition to investment in innovation, especially around social entrepreneurship, driving key sectors, agriculture, technology, education, all of the critical sectors we see today, that we actually need to leapfrog from where we are today, right? But I see this happening with public-private partnerships, where grants are actually provided. Businesses that fit into that can start to actually grow and expand, and hopefully hire more jobs, and that can bring some liquidity back into the marketplace. And the public-private partnership hopefully will have a lot more oversight than what sort of a lot of government-owned institutions have today.
All right, Sibongile, more resources to help entrepreneurs. Your take?
Yes, resources are required. Especially, we have been having a webinar with our mayor here in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. They threw questions on entrepreneurs, asking them, what do they require? As for me, I think since there is no new platform that is along specifically agriculture, they can help people who are experts in ICT, maybe just give them a tender, and then maybe the department or whoever can own that, including the way they do tendering. I know that in South Africa here, there's central database, so it's the central supply database, CSD, but there's a need for maybe a private owned one. If they can support people who are having this, it will be awesome. And also, the way they support is infrastructure, making sure that the roads are conducive, are in good shape for us to travel up and down, especially for us to go to farms. And the other support they can give is paying people to go and train those women, those youth that are in the village by upskilling them, so that they know that when they are doing business in a commercial way. That would be awesome.
I hear you. Very well, ladies, you all have my vote. Now, in order to wrap this up, since we are going to come out of this sooner than we think, I believe that, I want to provide, I want to provoke a little bit your individual vision. How do you, Africa, post COVID-19? Sibongile.
COVID-19 has brought bad and good. Inside of us, we became innovative. We started thinking out of the box. Thumbs up, COVID-19, though you started killing our people. We're feeling sorrowful, seeing people doing bad, dying and being quarantined. But the truth is that we have a new normal, which is better. And now we became more clean, sanitize, wear the mask, we care for each other. No going out there and give something bad to the another person.
I love that. I love that. Now, Beatrice, how about you? How do you Africa post COVID-19?
I think when a lot of people think about Africa, they think back to Wakanda, right? And that vision of what Africa could be. And I think never has it become so imperative for us and as our government as well to embrace technology and innovation. But more importantly, to deliver from cradle to the grave. We see our kids today struggling with online education, right? They're going to acquire skills that hopefully prepare them for that Africa that we're talking about. So for them to start early, start to get into everything from coding all the way to really developing true innovation in whatever areas that they go through. Leapfrogging, beyond some of the other countries that we've typically seen in Europe and the rest of the continent. But I think something weighs very heavy on my heart. If in the recent days we've seen people dying, but also when you look across America and race, I'm hoping that we have an Africa that would actually be a home that people in diaspora can actually want to return to, want to come back home, want to set down their roots here, and really, really live a full life without oppression, without racism, with all of the love that we can hopefully give to them.
Wow. All right. Dr. Nahla, how do you Africa post COVID-19?
So for me, I feel that all the plans that I think we can see, as Patrice said about Wakanda, that using technology and become a very finding solution, not waiting for the solution from the first word. So for me, I think this is the best time to imply or to use the technology, and from not to start from all back. We can start from what we have here and just build and just embrace the technology and just put our vision for the continent and see how we can change it, because disruption change the rules, as I said. So now we can, that Africa can put can change even the language that people when talk about Africa, the continent, it can be changed, it can be different, it can be a place for innovation, for organic, for natural, for humanity. As Beatrice said also about diaspora, I think it will change very much because of the problems that we see in the media about African diaspora in USA or in general. So I think they will, when they came back to Africa, they will consider it as their home, and they will come with their own mindset and the updated technology and all of that, and they start businesses. So, and I know there is some different situation happening now through Kenya and Ghana. People are trying to relocate and try to find how they can have a citizenship, and I like African Americans. So I think this could change the face of Africa for the upcoming years. This is our time now that we can find solution for ourselves, that we can change our reality, and we can plan for our future.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you should listen to these ladies. We have a better and stronger Africa coming out of this crisis. Wakanda, watch out. Now, ladies, it's been my privilege, honestly, to talk to you today. Thank you very much for sharing your views with us. From all of us at INFORAFRICA, Dr. Nahla, Beatrice, thank you very much. The three of you have been fantastic. Thank you so much for participating on our panel.
Thank you. It was our pleasure.
Bonjour. Thank you. For everyone watching this video, thank you for supporting INFORAFRICA. Winning this fight depends on each one of us. So wash your hands, wear your mask, respect the rules of social distancing, and don't forget to follow us for some more great content from INFORAFRICA. Thank you.